Good evening and welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge. And today we're going to talk about some things that a woman should always have. Things that you can never leave the house without, and things that if you dare forget them, you'll find yourself in a spot. And one of the first ones is your good old handbag. A handbag is like a friend. It's something that you need wherever you go, something that will always come in handy because it stores all the things that you need during the day and things that will keep your life comfortable, things that you can carry in it in case of emergencies. Always carry things like safety pins. These can actually save you and give you a first aid treatment before you can get your dress fixed. And now that masks are no longer mandatory, don't keep your lips dry. Always carry your lip balm. And if you're a makeup type of person, have your makeup kit around. This will definitely help you. And things like nail polish. It's not good to walk around with chipped nails. You either have a full coat of nail polish on or none at all. And if you must wear nail polish, carry a small amount that will keep you touched up nicely. Now, of course, this one is pretty obvious, but every woman should have some money on her. Nowadays, we have ATMs, we have mobile money, but at the same time, you need to have loose cash in small currency because you will need it to pay for things along the way. You may not always be able to access an ATM or a place to withdraw money, so have your cash handy. And did you know, by the way, by Kenyan law, if you do not have 200 shillings on you in cash on person, you can be charged for vagrancy. That's why it's important to have loose money on you at all times. And finally, handkerchiefs. This may sound old-fashioned, but a good cotton handkerchief that is well ironed will always help you in times of emergencies. The times when it's very hot, like now we're going through this heat stroke kind of weather, you need that handkerchief. A clean one, a nicely fragranced handkerchief will always come in handy. These have been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Joroge.
You won a scholarship to go to St. Joseph's School.
I'm so fly.
Nema, this is
Lydia. Hi.
Pa, Born to Fly is a teen drama by Kenyans for Kenyan girls. This mini-series follows the story of 3 teenage girls living in Nairobi and dealing with the everyday challenges of peer pressure, sexual harassment, bullying, and self-identity crisis. The drama aims to explore the lives of teenagers and in turn encourage them to make positive choices, thus leading to behavioral change. Catch Pa Born to Fly cast this Friday on Easy Friday with Shiksha, Arora, only on KBC Channel 1.
Nilipoanza kukohoa, kuhisi maumivu kwa kifua, uchovu mwilini, joto jingi mwilini, kutokwa na jasho jingi usiku, kukosa hamu ya chakula na kupoteza uzito haraka. Nilipimwa hospitalini, kabainika nilikuwa na TB.
Nilianza matibabu ya TB mara moja. Nilimeza dawa zangu bila kukosa kwa muda unaofaa, kama nilivyoshauriwa na daktari.
Ugonjwa wa TB sio uchawi. Mtu yeyote yule anaweza kupatwa na ugonjwa huu. Lakini ukimeza dawa vizuri, TB inatiba.
Nilitibiwa TB, nikapona na niko sawa.
TB inatiba. Pata matibabu bila malipo katika hospitali zote za umma. Tujijali, tumalize TB. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Wizara ya Afya na washirika wake.
A very warm welcome to you. This is Easy Friday. My name is Shiksha Arora. Of course, thank you for joining us as we take you through the top stories of the day right here on KBC Channel 1. Remember, you can get in touch with us on social media. The hashtag is Easy Friday. Find us on Twitter at KBC Channel 1, at Shiksha Arora, and at Kago_John_M.
Yep, there we go. And we have plenty of news that's been shipping up today, beginning of an era tonight, as Azimio La Umoja movement changes its name to Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance Coalition Party. Looking at that, and it's good news for farmers as the government releases about 5.7 billion shillings. This is to subsidize fertilizers. We're looking at that. Of course, business a bit later, sports as well. But first things first, we have the news highlights of the day. Guide me.
Azimio La Umoja and One Kenya Alliance merged to form Azimio La Umoja OKA Coalition Party.
I'm going to be credible, and that the results will be released depending on the President's diary before we open school.
KCSE, the candidates conclude exams with results expected in 2 weeks.
Shillings 5,734 million to subsidize 114,000 metric tons.
And relief as government releases 5.7 billion shillings for fertilizer subsidy program. All right, and taking you through the top story tonight. But before we get to that, our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. Now, Azimio La Umoja movement has officially changed its formation to Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance Coalition Party after Wiper, Jubilee, KANU, and ODM party signed a deed of agreement.
Now, this move comes following a standoff about the name that saw Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka keep off the Azimio campaign trail. This story begins a coverage of Easy Friday tonight.
The push and pull on merging One Kenya Alliance name into Azimio La Umoja Coalition finally came to fruition, ending weeks of deliberations that had threatened to cause cracks in the newly found unity between Azimio La Umoja Coalition and factions in One Kenya Alliance.
Today, we are going to officially launching the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition political party.
It has been really and indeed a long journey. Serious talks, heavy lifting, and we are now at a place that all of us are comfortable appending our signatures to a document that forms the coalition party called Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Political Party.
A deed of agreement which officially brings all the constituent parties under Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Political Party.
The Orange Democratic Movement Party had maintained that there was no way they could ink a coalition with One Kenya Alliance, citing limitations in the newly enacted Political Parties Act.
Kumekuweko na tofauti pale nyuma kati ya vyama hivi, haswa katika muungano wetu wa NASA, lakini wanavyosema Waswahili, wakosanao ndio wapatanao.
However, in a press conference held in Nairobi, Secretary Generals of the constituent political parties made public the resolve, declaring the formation of Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance Coalition Party.
We're here to announce the formation of Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Political Party, whereby it's taken a long road to get us where we are, and we are happy to get here to say from here going forward we are now going for the real politique.
The formation of the three-legged stool, as had been proposed by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka, also saw his lieutenants declare that consequently Wiper leader will now be at the forefront in campaigning for Azimio after speculation about his commitment to Azimio, so Kenya Kwanza seek him to join the hustler fold.
Mimi naomba tu munisaidie kuambia Kalonzo, tafadhali kiwezekana, please, wakikutesa sana, kuja hapa mfanye kazi na William Ruto.
You will see His Excellency Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka take a lead role in these campaigns, as will other leaders of other political parties.
President Uhuru Kenyatta would arbitrate the situation, cementing negotiations to ensure Wiper leader was firmly in Azimio. According to the party representatives, the move also signals the official working together to popularize Odinga's candidature in a series of rallies set to begin in West Pokot County and traverse the 47 counties.
Pokot tuko tayari kupokea mtoto mpichi ambaye tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 tunaenda straight nayo na hiyo mtoto State House. Hiyo ni mtoto ni Azimio la Umoja One Kenya.
That is the guiding principle, and we are ready to give and take, because we do not want to put this country into a spin again because of personal greeds and egos that we cannot sacrifice. It's very important that we be guided by the global picture.
For Easy Friday, I'm Gladys Mungai.
All right, now the Orange Democratic Movement's election board has postponed its party primaries in Nakuru County.
The nomination polls, which were scheduled for today, were put off over fears of possible violence.
Meanwhile, the party's Migori political rally was marred with violence after supporters of the two gubernatorial aspirants clashed.
Take a look.
As political parties race against time to have their primaries before the set deadline by Independent and Boundaries Commission (IBC), Orange Democratic Movement continues to face some hurdles. The Elections Board in Nakuru County postponed the primaries amid fears of violence outbreak. ODM National Elections Board Chairperson Kadri Muma stated the decision was arrived at after armed youth stormed a training session for clerks and presiding officers at Nakuru Primary.
The leader of Nakuru County, I believe, through Election Board, wata communicate with us. Juu tuliongea na jana usiku, walisema wata communicate with us so that progress ya election nomination itafanyuka siku ingine.
However, Nakuru County Assembly Minority Leader Peter Kajwang condemned the incident as he dismissed claims by a section of party members that he and Nakuru Town West Member of Parliament had been given direct tickets to defend their seats.
Nimeamka usiku saa 10 kwenda kupiga kura, si kweli? Ndio maana tumeandamana paka hapa kwa ofisi ya ODM. Watuambie ukweli. Hawakusema kama nini uchaguzi imeahirishwa. Saa hizi opposition wetu wanataka Kajwang anasema kuna certificate.
Hatutaki hiyo mzee hiyo vitu tunakuja tunadanganya kila siku. Ati pewa hakuna, pewa hakuna, pewa hakuna. Tutahama. Today tutahama.
Elsewhere, chaos marred Orange Democratic Movement rally at Poster Grounds in Migori after some aspirants were denied access to the dais to address the rally. Senators Ochilo Ayako and Ledama Olekina led a rally turned dramatic as supporters of two gubernatorial aspirants clashed.
Tumekuja kuambia kitu kimoja ambaye ni ya maana sana. Mimi nataka kuomba kitu kimoja. Sisi Wamasai wote tumeingia katika chama ya ODM.
Baba amesema every sub county one product. Suna East one product. Nasema one product. Suna East.
Meanwhile, Kenya Union for Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPPET Secretary General Akelo Misori has defended his decision of stepping down in support of Gladys Wanga for Homa Bay gubernatorial position on ODM ticket.
Kenyans.
Going forward, the people of Kenya are wiser and they know who cares about this nation and who are running schemes around them.
Sisi tunataka tulinde wa Kenya na pesa za wa Kenya zitumike vizuri
na ajira zipatikane na watu wengi katika taifa letu wapate maisha yao ikibadilishwa kwa njia inayofaa.
The team claiming that their competitors were thriving on politics of dishonesty instead of development, citing the failed BBI push.
Kura ya urais ni ya nani? Na kura ya ugavana? Timami. Na tunataka mbunge, mama wa county, MCA wote. Kenya kwanza.
Supreme katika nchi ya Kenya ni hawa mama wetu wa Lamu na wananchi wa Kenya ambao wanapiga kura.
Nafasi ya kina mama, kwa hivyo tuhusike kuiunda serikali na William Samoe.
All right, now the Kenya Kwanza Alliance is accusing the state of allegedly funding BBI activities in violation of the Public Finance Management Act.
Reacting to the ruling delivered by the Supreme Court Thursday that upheld the appellate court's decision to throw out the BBI bill, the alliance now says its legislators will move a motion in the August House to compel the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the total sum of monies spent on BBI.
John Jacob Curie has reported on this.
By a majority decision, the Supreme Court Thursday upheld a decision of the High Court and Appellate Court. Following the decision, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, led by Deputy President William Ruto, now claims that BBI activities were funded by the Exchequer for the last 4 years in violation of the Public Finance Management Act, alleging the National Assembly had not appropriated monies to fund the activities.
It is important to note that public funds used in the constitutional process were not appropriated by the National Assembly for the purpose, but were rather an illegal diversion of public funds by some public officials.
The alliance also wants public officials alleged to have diverted public money to BBI surcharged and has therefore instructed MPs allied to the outfit to move a motion compelling the Auditor General to conduct a forensic audit of the total sum of money spent on BBI.
Section 37 of the Public Audit Act 2015, the Auditor General, upon request by Parliament, is required to conduct forensic audits to establish fraud, corruption, or other financial improprieties.
This even as ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi shot back at his critics who have accused him of double standards in his criticism of BBI. In a statement, Musalia says he was among the first leaders to raise concerns over the initial BBI document, citing a number of clauses that needed review for the document to be all-inclusive. Musalia wants his critics to scrutinize his messages on BBI carefully, dissect the issues he raised, and make a comparison to the ruling of the court. And a cross-section of politicians, non-governmental organizations, and a section of clergy have called on Kenyans to accept the BBI verdict as a way of strengthening the rule of law in the country.
All players should respect the verdict of the court, whichever way it takes. And again, that is what gives us the reason to appreciate the functionality of every organ.
But this now has been demonstrated by courageous and gallant Kenyans who refuse to be intimidated and who refused for their democracy from being snatched away from them.
John Jacob Curia, Easy Friday.
And now, the Azimio La Umoja Oka Coalition Party presidential flag bearer Raila Odinga today met resistance in Iten Town, Elgeyo Marakwet County, as he tried to sell his agenda to the residents.
The pro-Ruto crowd did not deter him from addressing the residents. And Raila sold his 10-point agenda, promising the residents that he will unite the country once elected president during the August polls.
The helicopter that was used by Raila was pelted in an incident that has been condemned.
And the Azimio flag bearer and his entourage left for Kakamega after the incident.
Raila was in the neighborhood to attend Mzee Jackson Kibor. That's the barrier later proceed for a rally.
All right, moving on. Wiper Democratic Movement Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has declared to defend President Uhuru Kenyatta against any attacks by Kenya Kwanza Brigade.
Elsewhere, the United Democratic Alliance Elections Board has assured aspirants under the party of free and fair nominations ahead of course, those nominations that are slated for April the 14th. We are looking at this and other stories in our political roundup with Jelly Zaladi.
The Wiper leader and Okako principal Kalonzo Musyoka says presidency was a symbol of unity and respect. Kalonzo calling on the Kenya Kwanza leaders to address the presidency with the decorum it deserves.
Nikitaka kumkashifu Rais Kibaki, kama ningesimama kando na jiuzulu kama makamu wa rais wa Kenya. Alafu naweza kumkashifu. Sasa tunazungumza Deputy President wa Kenya ni William Ruto. President ni Uhuru Kenyatta. Sidhani kama kuna president mwingine dunia nzima kama Uhuru Kenyatta. Hakuna.
On matters related to the Supreme Court BBI ruling, the Wiper leader welcomed the decision, saying the ruling paves way for a future review of the Constitution. Elsewhere, the United Democratic Alliance Elections Body has assured aspirants under the party of free and fair nominations slated for the 14th of this month. The party is, however, alleging interference from the state actors keen on disrupting nominations.
The board wishes to reiterate that nominations will be free and fair, where all aspirants will be given equal opportunities to participate in the nominations. In the spirit of enhancing the transparency, international observers at the Diplo Watch from 17 embassies have expressed interest in being part of this historic process.
That's okay. In another news, at least 350 aspirants have been registered to run for various elective seats on Tujibebe wa Kenya Party, affiliated with the former Kiambu Governor William Kabogo. Tujibebe wa Kenya Party National Elections Body Chairperson Luz Kamau said that the party nominations will be held between the 14th and 22nd of this month.
The party shall be using the direct party nomination method as its method of nominations through interviews and consensus. Where there is only one qualified aspirant in a given ward, constituency or county, the party shall issue a direct ticket to such a person if the person is only one and meets all the requirements for nomination.
Finally, Michael Njogo Gitonga, commonly known as Uhunya Umoja, has declared his bid for president in the August general election. Gitonga, who will run on an independent ticket, says if elected, he will empower impoverished Kenyans.
Sisi ndo tunajua wale watu wako huko chini, ile shida wanakula, ile mambo wanapitia. So ndo nikajitolea na nikasema mimi nitasimama na chama cha Independence. Ofisi zetu ziko pale Umoja, ukitaka kuja kwa ofisi zetu za campaign tuko pale Umoja. So mtu wote anaweza kuwa hasura akuja, na tutasimama na mahasura.
Jelis Aladi for Easy Friday.
With that, it's time for us to take our first commercial break. Remember, Kago, we've got a very interesting spotlight session lined up where we'll be speaking to the cast of Pa, Born to Fly, a cast that is about teenage girls here in Nairobi and, of course, the struggles that they go through in their day-to-day lives.
That's interesting. That's a bit later. Remember, we also have business and sports a bit later.
Absolutely.
So, as we take the first break, the KCSE exams are concluded today. Results expected in 2 weeks. So look at this and other stories when we come back.
The management, staff and students of Mary Shaw School wish to convey our congratulatory message to the KCPE candidates on their well-deserved success. Well done and congratulations on passing the 2021 KCPE exams.
But quite frankly, I don't think you know.
Contra Unit's gone outlaw. They've taken it too far in MLW.
seems like Contra is all about.
Your talent, dedication, and hard work have led you to victory. Mary Show School, home of the boy child.
Ili kupata Warumi 8 kama skiza tune kwenye simu yako, bonyeza *811 *815#.
Nina hakika kwamba hakuna kinachoweza kukutenga na upendo wa Mwenyezi Mungu. Si kifo, si malaika, si vitu tulivyokuwa navyo au tutakavyokuwa navyo, si mamlaka au chochote kitakachoumbwa. Warumi 8:38 hadi 39.
Kupata Warumi 8, bonyeza *811 *815#. *811 *815#.
Mwongo mmoja umekamilika. Twarejea kwa udi na uvumba, kwa vishindo si haba, nderemo na vifijo. Tulia tuli, maana mambo si kama kawaida tena, kwani kupitia runinga yako ya KBC ushapata tarehe. Vitimbi kila Jumatatu jioni saa 1:35. Usikose.
Welcome back. And still on matters KCSE, well, the Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education examination results will now be out in 2 weeks.
The exam, which concluded today after 3 weeks, has, however, seen about 50 cases of exam malpractices.
Education CES Professor George Magoha says authorities will take stern action against perpetrators of the malpractices.
After 3 weeks of rigorous examination timetable, the over 800,000 candidates in the 10,413 examination centers have finally concluded the examination task. With the marking of the exam script expected to begin on Monday, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha says the results of the examination will be released in a fortnight.
So I would want to reassure people that the result that we are going to have are going to be credible, and that the results will be released depending on the President's diary before we open school. I suppose when we complete marking, I'll be more specific at that time.
Though the CS claims there was no exam leakage, there were 50 recorded cases of malpractices, which included early exposure and sneaking of mobile phones.
After the distribution of the materials from the respective containers, a few unscrupulous contracted officials in some parts of the country attempted to tamper with the packaging of the examinations with the intention of exposing their contents to some candidates. This is what is called early exposure of examinations contents and must not be confused with the leakage of examinations.
Magoha warning that stern action will be taken against the perpetrators of the said malpractices.
50 people, including center managers, supervisors, invigilators, and support staff, have been arrested in connection with attempted early exposure of our examinations. I want to first of all thank our security agencies and the multi-agency team for ensuring that anytime this was attempted, it was capped. Stern action will definitely be taken against them in line with the law of the land and other administrative procedures.
Magoha thanked the multi-agency team that oversaw the successful delivery of the examination. Beatrice Gatonyangetich, Easy Friday.
All right, now a section of Boda riders here in the capital have called on the government to deal decisively with riders who are alleged to be evading the ongoing nationwide registration and operating by giving bribes to police officers.
Speaking after submitting themselves in the Makadara Huduma Center for registration, the operators called on the government not to spare such elements, saying the law must be applied indiscriminately to ensure sanity is restored in the sector.
Day 5 of the nationwide Boda registration exercise in Makadara, Huduma Center, Nairobi. Long queues characterize the process. Amos Okemwa, a Boda rider, says he was here as early as 3 a.m. to benefit from the ongoing process.
Nimeamka mapema sana kama saa 10 kuja kupanga line. Bado watu ni wengi, watu wa pikipiki ni wengi Nairobi.
This even as he lamented that the exercise is slow. Consequently, Boda riders are calling on the government to extend the 60 days deadline, saying many of the operators might be locked out.
Anashukuru serikali imetupatia muda kidogo, lakini naye tungeomba ingeongezea muda. Chukua watu wa pikipiki ni wengi. Hapo ukiona ile line ilikuwa hapa saa 9 kama hata Huduma Center kabla haijafungua. Watu walikuwa wengi sana na bado hatujamaliziwa.
Our spot check revealed that the foreigners who are also operating the business are disadvantaged for lack of the proper documentation.
Tujuane kama majirani. Hii Nairobi tunajuana kama majirani namba 1. Kozi hapa tumekuja kutafuta.
According to the officials in charge of the exercise at Makadara Huduma Center, so far 1,800 Boda riders has been registered by Thursday close of business.
Naomba wenye wachafika hapa, naomba wafike juu hii kitu itakuwa ni ya muhimu.
Meanwhile, the riders have asked the government not to spare Boda operators who are trying to cut corners and operating without registration.
Mtu yote mwenye atakuwa haja comply wasimspare, kwa sababu wakispare hawa watu wenye haja comply wakirudi kwa barabara watakuwa wanafanya visanga na wanaturudishia ngori. Unaona? Juu niko na hakika wale watu wenye wako na makosa hawawezi kanyaga hapa. No, mimi kitu naomba gava ni moja. Si ati gava imefanya makosa, watu wengine tunataka kufanya kazi, unaona? Na kuna wengine wenye wanaingia wako na malengo tofauti.
The government launched the Boda registration exercise on Monday this week in all the 52 Huduma centers across the country, in a move that is tailored at pushing for reforms in the sector.
Just 4 days after the nationwide Boda registration kicked off, the National Transport Safety Authority (NTSA) is determined and focused in leaving no stone unturned in ensuring sanity is restored in the Boda sector. Timothy Kipnoso for Easy Friday, Nairobi.
Now, Muslims across the world are preparing to usher in the holy month of Ramadan.
On the beginning of Ramadan, that's the 9th month in the Muslim calendar, is determined by the sighting of a new moon.
Jamia Mosque Dawah Director Mohammed Sheikh called on Muslims to exercise tolerance during the holy month and engage in deep prayer.
He called for patience over the sighting of the moon.
Ramadan is the season when Muslims around the globe focus on prayer, fasting and religious devotion. It's the holiest month in the Islamic calendar. Jamia Mosque Dawah Director Mohammed Sheikh says the holy month of Ramadan is determined by the sighting of a new moon.
Kiwa mwezi hautaandama, kesho itakuwa ni tunakamilisha 30 ya mwezi huu, kisha automatically siku inayofuatia siku ya Jumapili ndio itakuwa mwanzo wa mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadan.
Mohammed called on Muslims to observe the fasting month of Ramadan by supporting the needy and the less fortunate ones at these hard economic times.
Mwaka jana na juzi tulikuwa na challenge ya corona. Mwaka huu tunazungumzia changamoto la mfumuko wa bei za bidhaa. Ya kuwa bei za bidhaa zimepanda mno. Kuna watu ambao bila shaka watashindwa kuweza kuafford iftari yao. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu la kila Muislamu ambaye ana zaidi ya matumizi yake aweze kuwakumbuka wasiojiweza katika jamii na waweze kumsaidia, tuweze kusaidiana insha Allah tabaraka wa taala.
All Muslim faithful eyes will be set on the skies on Saturday and Sunday, with the Ramadan moon expected to appear on one of the 2 days.
Basi Allah asema, faman shahida minkum ash-shahra falyasum. Yoyote ambaye atakuwa hai, mzima, si mgonjwa, si msafir, hali ya kuwa mwezi umeandama, basi aweza kuanza kufunga mwezi wa Ramadan.
During Ramadan, Muslims ask for forgiveness for sins, pray for guidance and help in refraining from everyday evils, and try to purify themselves through self-restraint and good deeds.
Now, in this week's edition of My Culture, our features reporter Richard Munga attended a graduation ceremony for 300 newly circumcised boys at Kimbo Kiganjo in Kiambu County.
Well, at the event, elders drawn from Kiama inducted the young men into society expectations of their newly acquired status.
From childhood to adulthood, this group of no less than 300 came here 14 days ago to undergo the Kikuyu rite of passage, Arora, meaning circumcision, and are now living as young men, commonly referred to as anake in the Kikuyu culture.
Hii inafanyika tuseme kwa zile counties sana sana ambayo watu wetu wako, lakini inafanyika mpaka Mombasa, mpaka Lamu, mpaka huko Eldoret, huko Uasin Gishu. Hali wote watu wako wiko kwa sababu chama yetu imeenea mpaka huko.
We take this process seriously because circumcision is always handled by men. That's why we insist on it. Hence, when we start the process, we always want to finish it accordingly, as we have done today.
According to the elders under the auspices of Kiama, the culture is keen to ensure that boys need not only understand the rite of passage, but what is expected of them after the transition to adulthood.
We always want them to know the role of a young man, what he's supposed to do at home besides education, because in school they learn subjects like math, geography, history, etc. However, even if he learns all that, he will need informal education to improve his mentality. A Kikuyu elder is a God-fearing person, so we call upon God every day as we face Mount Kirinyaga. So we have also taught them those prayers.
Tangu nikuje hapa, naweza sema ni kuzuri, sababu nimesoma vitu mingi, mambo kama kujijua, self-awareness, na also kuwa na discipline, na also kuacha kudharau watu hivi.
Typically, after circumcision, the boy, Kahe, spends 9 days learning what it means to become an adult. The significance of the 9 days, you wonder?
The boy child is accorded 5 ululations. For a girl child, it's 4. The total is 9. A woman carries a child in her womb for 9 months. Hence, the young men spend 9 days learning about adulthood, without counting the day of the graduation. Each of the 9 days have their significance in the preparation and advice they are given.
With the young men recovering, it is believed that their dietary needs must be of paramount importance, and they are required to eat 6 meals a day, a responsibility that is often entrusted with parents as they pick their sons.
Watoto wanalewa na wazazi wawili. Kwa hivyo ndio umeona hapa wanachanganyana. Iko akina mama, iko akina baba. Na kama vile ulisikia vile hivi vijana wanafundishwa na ile mawaidha inapewa wazazi, iko ile mama atafanya. Kama hii watoto lazima wakule sana. Unaona hii sasa umri yao ni ile yao kukua sasa, lazima watakula sana. Sasa nani anapikia watoto? Sini mama. Kwa hivyo tunajumuisha watu yote. Wazee wako na jukumu yao, akina mama wa jukumu yao.
As the popular Swahili proverb says, mwacha mila ni mtumwa, Kiama has been carrying out circumcision of boys all over the country, particularly in central Kenya, as they believe that it is about time Kikuyus reclaimed their culture.
Kijana yako ya kwanza na ametairi, hata wewe unaruka gazi kwa uzee, unakuwa ile naita maybe junior elder, right? Na mama, wale mama anatoa zile vitu alikuwa anavaa za aina nyingine, na akikutana na mtu anajua huyu si mama ile mrembo, huyu sasa amekomaa kwa sababu ya ile kitu amevaa kwa masikio. Kazi ya kutairisha watoto ni ya wazee, na ile ningetaka kuhimiza sana ni kwa wanaume wenzangu. Umeona kama hapa iko vijana wameletwa na mama zao. Hiyo si kawaida na ni mbaya sana. Na saa hiyo baba yake yuko, labda ako kambi anabwagia pombe. Na sisi hatuambii wanaume wakae na bibi zao. Kama walitengana sawa, lakini kijana yao akifika hapa washikane, wamlete pamoja. Tuko pamoja, wamlete pamoja, wamkabidhi kwa wazee.
Always my absolute favorite segment, that is, my culture. Get to learn a lot every single week right here on KBC Channel 1. Great job, Richard Munga.
All right, focusing on Kikuyu land initiation into adulthood for this young man. Kiama. There we go. Time for us to take a quick breather.
Oh yes, it's time to take a short break. We'll be back in just a moment, after which we've got business news as well as sports. Don't go too far. This is Easy Friday.
Nilipoanza kukohoa, kuhisi maumivu kwa kifua, uchovu mwilini, joto jingi mwilini, kutokwa na jasho jingi usiku, kukosa hamu ya chakula na kupoteza uzito haraka. Nilipimwa hospitalini, kabainika nilikuwa na TB.
Nilianza matibabu ya TB mara moja. Nilimeza dawa zangu bila kukosa kwa muda unaofaa, kama nilivyoshauriwa na daktari.
Ugonjwa wa TB sio uchawi. Mtu yeyote yule anaweza kupatwa na ugonjwa huu, lakini ukimeza dawa vizuri, TB inatiba.
Nilitibiwa TB, nikapona na niko sawa.
TB inatiba. Pata matibabu bila malipo katika hospitali zote za umma. Tujijali, tumalize TB. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Wizara ya Afya na washirika wake.
Tea is the most consumed beverage in the world, following only water. This week on The Process, we take a closer look at orthodox tea processing.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for staying with Easy Friday. My name is Bette Kiptum. Let's get the business news. Now, the government has released 5.7 billion shillings for the fertilizer subsidy program. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya says the subsidy will reduce the cost of fertilizer by half, and each farmer can only buy a maximum of 10 bags. Details of these and other stories in our business roundup.
The National Cereals and Produce Board will start selling the subsidized fertilizer to farmers tomorrow. This after the government released 5.7 billion shillings to subsidize 114,000 metric tons of fertilizer. The amount is expected to reduce the cost of fertilizer by about 50%, in what the government says is a short-term intervention that seeks to reduce the cost of food production.
The government has set aside Kenya shillings 5 billion 734 million to subsidize 114,000 metric tons. That is 2,280,000 50 kg bags of fertilizer for farmers.
more than 20 deaths and billions of shillings in property losses. A gap in information sharing between professionals and counties, a lack of proper training, inadequate technical capacities, and collusion between various players in the sector is to blame. The country is also facing a major shortage of engineers.
We are encouraging the county government to create a scheme where they will have at least the position of a superintending engineer, a senior superintending engineer, a principal superintending engineer, and a chief engineer in various areas of engineering discipline, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, and so on.
Several agencies goes to site. Now, who is supposed to do what? Not even before a building collapses. As the building is being constructed. So you find there are different, this one is, you understand what I mean. So we need to really get it clear in terms of who is supposed to do what and how can we now work together.
Findings of a special task force by the Engineers Board of Kenya have revealed that in the case of the Pai Bridge and the Kino apartments, designs were not checked by a qualified engineer, while the apartment designs in Kino were changed mid-construction. According to the report findings in the case of Pai Bridge, the original design span was to be 50 meters, but due to funding inadequacies, it was reduced to 32 meters, with a possible recommended span of 100 meters. In Kino, the building was approved for 4 floors, with ground parking, but was however pushed to 6 floors by the developer, resulting in overloading of columns and poor steel containment.
The building in Kiambu, again, it was the question of foundation. And we are encouraging the investors to make sure that the foundations are properly researched and designed, because without a solid foundation, the building will always collapse.
Going forward, the report has recommended the hiring of professionals by counties, involvement of the EBK in the approval process, upscaling compliance, and enforcement and awareness campaigns. Alanauko, Easy Friday.
Now, ICT Principal Secretary Dr. Jerome Ochieng says the 4th medium-term plan of the Vision 2030, running from the year 2023 to 2027, will incorporate ICT in all learning institutions. Dr. Ochieng says the objective is to introduce technology in schools at an early age after a pilot that was done in 10 schools in the rural areas whose outcome was good.
Speaking in Siaya town after officially opening the County Consultation Forum for the 4th Medium-Term Plan, ICT Principal Secretary Dr. Jerome Ochieng, who was flanked by the government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna, said the government is keen on incorporating ICT in all the learning institutions.
We have so far distributed learning devices to more than 30,000 primary schools, and that was really the objective, was to actually begin introducing technology in school at a very early age, which essentially is taking place. Of course, I agree with you that there has been problems of infrastructure, but this is something that is gradually being solved, especially with the introduction of devices in school. We try as much as possible to do connectivity to these schools.
He says the teachers are continually getting trained on the emerging trends in the world of technology and will soon fit in according to the requirements of the CBC.
We will cumulatively continue connecting schools, continuing institutions and other institutions, and also empowering the teachers, because again, training is important. Otherwise, there is no need of having devices in schools, and yet teachers have not been trained.
The government spokesperson said some of the Vision 2030 targets have been achieved, citing key infrastructural projects such as ports, railway and roads, as well as automation of the medical services. The County Consultation Forum in Siaya brought together national and county government officials, community members and civil society organizations. Reporting for Easy Friday, I am Teresa Mutai.
Well, that is all the business news we had for you this evening, but of course sports news is coming up with Karen Kibet. My name is Betty Kiptum. Do have yourself a lovely night. Bye-bye.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email news@kbc.co.ke or call 0723-892-654 or 0734-780-124.
Nilipimwa hospitalini, kabainika nilikuwa na TB.
Nilianza matibabu ya TB mara moja. Nilimeza dawa zangu bila kukosa kwa muda unaofaa, kama nilivyoshauriwa na daktari.
Pata matibabu bila malipo katika hospitali zote za umma. Tujijali, tumalize TB. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Wizara ya Afya na washirika wake.
Get ready for the next big thing.
A woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman.
So we need to start bringing out the profession in a woman. When we demonstrate, they will come when we've been tear gassed, not when we want to pass the message.
The Dada Show is back, a show where women get to be themselves and discuss real issues.
She cannot allow other women to come in the same space because she's getting different privileges from men. So akiona mwanamke, ako like, this is a competitor.
This being an election year, we have given an opportunity to women to express themselves and share their expectations during this critical moment in our country.
The issue of corruption and how it has impacted women and children in this country.
Create jobs for the informal sector, create jobs for the youth who leave the universities.
Hatutaki bora uongozi, tunataka uongozi bora.
Keep your heels, head and standards high. Dadas, coming soon.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. Let's now take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now, it's all systems go to the ARC Equator Rally, which is set to zoom off on Saturday at the KWS Research and Training Institute in Naivasha, Nakuru. Speaking at today's flagging off ceremony, the Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed hailed the drivers and navigators for coming out to showcase their talents, and also added that the country will look forward to appreciate them in a big way. Amina also noted that women have joined the sport and are ready to challenge in the male-dominated sport. 23 drivers will be on ground tomorrow with some of the big-name competition in this edition. The event is acting as a curtain raiser for this year's WRC rally.
We fully support you and we are fully behind you. We've all become motor enthusiasts. I'm really happy that the ladies have taken up the mantle and have started their own competition, which is totally wonderful. And soon they will be giving you a run for your money, so get ready.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The national boxing team Hit Squad will leave the country this Sunday ahead of this year's Zone 3 Boxing Championship, set to be held from 4th to 10th this month in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Kenyan pugilists are undergoing rigorous training at the Mathare Police Depot ahead of the regional assignment.
The Kenyan team, comprising of 22 pugilists, will leave the country on Sunday ahead of the Zone 3 Boxing Championship. Hit Squad is currently training at the Mathare Police Depot under the tutelage of head coach Musa Benjamin and assistant coach Dave Munuhe. Kenyan pugilists are targeting to replicate the same performance that saw them bag 1 gold, 5 silver and 5 bronze at the regional showpiece last year. Veteran Nico Koth, Elia Joey and Christine Ongare will lead Kenya's medal hunt at the championship.
kucheza game, nifungulie wale watu vile naanzaga kama komanda, unaona. Na point tunaweza, unajua lazima pia ujiweke juu kwanza. Mimi tayari mimi na moral yangu kwa juu, sina wasiwasi.
This is just a build up for the upcoming major tournaments. We have the Women World Championship, which will be held in Turkey, like in May. So it's for us ladies, it's also like a build up match. So we'll gauge ourselves with that as we work towards going through to the World Championship.
Stephen Olang will make his debut in light middleweight, Isaac Major featherweight, Anne Wanjiru flyweight, Amina Mother bantamweight, and Alice Wayego featherweight. Hit Squad will use the Zone 3 Boxing Championship to prepare for the Women World Championship slated for May in Turkey. After the World Championship in Turkey, focus will shift to the Commonwealth Games set to be held from July 28th to 8th August in Birmingham, England.
Former Shiksha captain and KCB's back rower Andrew Amonde says the bankers are ready for the Impala Resolution Saracens clash this weekend in the Enterprise Cup semi-finals. Amonde said his side will take a different tactical approach in the match to ensure they register positive results. The bankers lost to Impala in a similar semi-final clash last season, and according to Amonde, the tie is a must-win encounter, having bowed out of the Kenya Cup. Some of the big names in the squad will be joining the Kenya 15s Simbas, but despite them missing, Amonde reckons they are still favourites ahead of the clash. Defending champions and recently crowned Kenya Cup winners Kabras Sugar will lock horns with homeboys at their home turf.
It's a different kind of team, and with a few experienced guys, we'll be able to just stick to our ways of play and to stay to our codes and to be able to get the win.
There's a lot of depth right now, and we're trying different things. So we are in for the challenge, and it's a good opportunity for the new guys being rotated into the squad and being given chances so that they may prove themselves as we move forward.
Over 150 golfers are expected to tee off at the Muthaiga Golf Club this weekend for the 12th edition of the Road to Glen Eagles Johnny Walker Golf Series. The golfers will play in the competition's 4-ball Stableford format at the Par 71 course. The golfers will battle it out as they aim to make the cut for the series semi-finals dubbed the Eagles Round, to be played at the same venue in May 2022. This will then be followed by the grand finale, where a fully paid trip to the iconic Glen Eagles golf course in Scotland will be up for grabs. The event follows the Limuru Golf Club leg held last weekend. And those are all the sports stories we had for you tonight. I'll see you next week. Have yourself a peaceful night, but the broadcast is not yet over, as I do hand you back to John Kago and Shiksha Arora for more.
All right, thank you so much, Karen Kibet, for that. We are almost wrapping up the bulletin now. Spotlight is coming up, and speaking about sports, a big day tomorrow. Everything to play for Liverpool and Manchester City. Liverpool is on against Watford tomorrow. Manchester City up against Burnley. Interesting matches tomorrow. That's in the EPL. Spotlight is coming up. What are you looking at?
Oh yes, we've got a very interesting interview lined up for you. Remember, we'll be speaking to the cast of Pa, and also we'll be asking them about their journey. You know, this is a very empowering TV series that has just gone on air a few days ago, and I must say I'm already impressed. Details coming up shortly. Don't miss out on that interview right after this short break.
All right, I'll see you next week on Friday. Good night from myself. So long.
Simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, atandani ya jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, atandani ya jam. Tupige kasherehe pande gani, hapa kila mtu amebamba wake, kwani rada gani na dai rada safi, uteru mambo mbaya mindio baba yake, aya keti naye vile kamesimama, macho macho usijitege kamba, don't live once kama mbaya mbaya, jipange we mwenyewe usiprichie kwaya, sikia wamejam squeezy nimechange diet, wamejam vile baby mbaya, wamejam vile squeezy wakini call him mtete wena mbele simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, simuta jam na jam, atandani ya jam, simuta jam na 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 jam, atandani ya jam. Eti wameshika nare, nare, wameshika nare.
Welcome back to Easy Friday. If you've just joined us, remember you can find us on social media. The hashtag is Easy Friday on KBC Channel 1 at Shiksha Arora. Remember, today I'm speaking to very talented individuals. Of course, they are the cast of Power Born to Fly. It is a new series that has really been making waves, if I must add, with regards to how it's set to empower the girl child. It's by girls, for girls, and of course something that I think is very important in this day and age. Without further ado, let me introduce the cast to you. We've got Stephanie. Hello.
Hi.
In fact, let's do this. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Shiko Mushiri, aka Stephanie. I am an actress, commercial model, and a student at Daystar University studying counseling and psychology. So yeah, that's me.
Lovely. We've got the beautiful lady Sarah.
Hey, my name is Sarah Wanjiro. I am an actor, a writer, and generally a creative.
Lovely. We've got Mr. Brian.
Yes. Hi, Brian Fura here, and this one.
Yes.
Hi, Brian Fura here, musician. I can sing, to myself that is.
Okay.
I photography, athletics, that is sprints, and I'll say all-round actor, that's me.
Lovely. So let's start off with what PA, is really about. I mean, we've been seeing it everywhere, from billboards to social media to TV to YouTube. What is PA about, and what is the reason behind why we've got such a powerful storyline and a powerful cast today?
Okay, I think for me, PA is basically a TV series that aims to empower teenage girls who are just getting into their teens, in high school, trying to figure themselves out. So it's kind of like a manual, stroke a guide, or like just a show, a teacher to just teenage girls, to teach them how to go through life, how to make decisions, and yeah, it just really empowers teenage girls.
Lovely. Yeah. Sarah, as a young girl yourself, I feel like there's sometimes things that we don't really speak about, and there's struggles that we deal with growing up. As she said, being a teenage girl in your day-to-day life, there is a lot of issues and challenges that you encounter along the way. So maybe you can take me through some of the challenges that you've encountered, as a teenage girl back in the day.
yes, because I'm no longer a teenager. Yes. Okay, there's so many challenges that I personally faced, and some of the things that I can really remember that really got to me were things like bullying and gossiping. And that really happened a lot, especially in a school setup and things like that, and they were so hard. Also harassment in different aspects, and they were really challenging because when you're young, you don't exactly know how to navigate through it.
Right.
You're not sure. There are times that there are people who are lucky to have a support system. There are people who are they are already self-aware. They can present their problems to someone they trust and things like that.
Yes.
But for me, it was really challenging. But I really wish at that time I had a show like PA to watch and just look at young teenagers who are going through the same things, because we tackle all this in PA, and just seeing how they navigate it and how like understanding that everyone is almost going through the same thing and you're not alone and you can conquer it at the end of the day. So yeah.
Lovely message. Brian, I mean, it's very important, firstly, to have a strong male lead as well, because let's be honest, a girl's life as a teenager is not complete without an interesting man, of course. So Brian, maybe you can take me through what your thought process was when you first approached and then you decided that let's do this TV series, and what are some of the things that you were going through in terms of, okay, look, this is dominated by women, firstly. It is an all women's cast, of course, predominantly, and then there's you. So what did you feel? What were some of your fears? Were you excited? What was that feeling that you felt at that particular moment?
Excitement.
Okay.
I'll go for excitement because I wasn't sure how to handle the situation, because when it's a girl-dominated show, you're not too sure what your part in the show is.
Yes.
And you clearly, it's called Sky Girls. That is basically what's behind the entire past series.
Yes.
And when you go through the script and you see girls here, and Brian is everywhere, I was like, okay, how am I supposed to act around them and everything? But then I came to realize that my role on this is to show the world, show girls out there that not every boy out there is a negative aspect in your life. You will find someone a guy who's willing to support you through your school life.
Right.
I guess with your friends, like they correct you when you're going wrong. Brian is basically Lydia's silent. He's Lydia's silent. What's the word for this? Silent guide.
Okay.
Yes. She's not sure that she's not. Basically, I'm trying to find the perfect word for this.
Backbone,
Lydia,
maybe.
Yes, but not the level of backbone that you're truly completely dependent on.
Okay.
He only steps in when he needs to.
Right.
That's what I feel for Brian. And
so Chinyamaji.
Yes, yes. Which you'll notice if you've seen it. People, Brian has a crush on her, but he also cares for her, which he's not said yet.
Okay. Thanks for the spoilers. Spoiler alert!
Not a spoiler, but if all of you can tell, he has a small crush on her. But in my opinion, Brian is necessary for the show because most girls, they've experienced boys out there who are complete. They mess their lives up completely. So in my opinion, he's there to show the world that not all boys are bad.
I like that. Not all boys are bad. Very strong message there, right? I feel like, as he said, that it's very important to put that message out there, because the perception that we have growing up is that usually in high school you're going to meet boys who are going to ruin you, and then they'll take you through ups and downs, mostly downs, and then you'll come to realize later on that actually there's some men we've got good men, right?
Yeah, good intentions.
So I think that's a positive. So firstly, I feel like that was really good on the writer's part to portray that. Brilliant there. And maybe you can take me through, some of the day-to-day challenges, as she's mentioned. These are some of the things that she faced when she was a teenager. Also, you can take me through some of the things that you've encountered along the way, growing up as a teenager, now to the young lady that you are.
For me, I'd say high school really shaped who I am today, because I really went through a lot, especially bullying, just the same as Lydia in the show. So me being able to handle whatever I went through, being able to pick myself up, being able to find the courage to actually speak out when something was wrong, like that really shaped me into who I am today. And whatever comes right now, I can be able to navigate it, no matter how hard it is. Like I can be able to navigate it. So for me, I think mostly it was just bullying and people trying to put each other down, especially in high school. So it was a really traumatic experience, but I'm glad that I went through it because it made me who I am today.
Lovely. I like that. Sarah, do you think teenagers of today have a harder time, maneuvering their way through life compared to teenagers of back in the day?
Well, okay, that question has two answers. Yeah, both sides. But I'd say yes. They have a harder time because right now there's so much information that is disposed everywhere.
Absolutely.
They have so much information, and it becomes, I think, harder to discern. For you have to be you have to know yourself. You have to understand what's your thing and what's not your thing, for you to be able to choose what information can I take in, what information can I absorb, what information can I consume so that it can affect my day-to-day life. Yeah, I think I'd say that they definitely having it harder, but it also has a positive side.
Okay.
Because with all this information and with how digital the world is going and things like that, it's even easier to find help when they're having problems that they're facing. There are helplines that are given. Like after you watch our show, there's a helpline that's given there for kids who are going through maybe like harassment or if you need some type of help. So the information is also there for them to receive help. And also with all that information that is disposed out there, they are able to know and learn that they're not alone. Like you can see, like right now, we're able to produce shows like Pa, where they can see that, okay, there are also other kids who go through the same thing. It's relatable. They're also told that even like how Sky Girls creates like a whole community, they know that they have a place to fall back to and they'd have a foundation that would help them grow and become the young, beautiful ladies who are going to blossom in future. So, yeah.
Lovely, lovely. Brian, as a male figure, of course, in this particular show that is predominantly female, what message would you like to give other boys and men who are watching the show, and what would you like to tell them that they could pick up, you know, from this particular series and apply into their day-to-day lives?
This message, let's say, will go to both the good and the bad man.
Okay.
This show shows you an insight that most of the time you won't really see. Aside, let's say it gives you the girl's point of view. If you do this to this girl, how will she take it? If you maybe break her heart, if maybe even you insult her, take her for granted, like you showed the last episode, the harassment part. How does that make that girl feel? To you, maybe there are people out there who don't realize just how much of a weight this is.
Right.
So you could see how Nema handled the situation, how much it affected her mentally. So just what they show, as much you might not be attracted to it as most people are, but watch it to understand what our sisters, our moms, our aunts, what they're going through. It will actually get you through all that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I feel like that's a very important point that you've raised, because sometimes girls, especially teenage girls, they suffer in silence. And a lot of the times they feel like they're alone. So it's very important to have such a show just to be able to, put the message across that you're not alone, right? In these trials and tribulations that you face in your high school life. The one thing that I honestly felt when I was watching, the trailer especially, is that there's a very strong emotional connect, because you watch it and you really feel like you can relate with Lydia, even though I'm much older. I wish I was a teenager, but like, you feel like this is something that I went through when I was much younger. How hard was it portraying Lydia?
The days where there's a day I was on set and we had scenes that were really emotionally draining. Lydia was going through something. I don't want to give spoilers, but there was a need for her to be emotionally vulnerable. So for me, it really needed me to dig deep into myself, into my traumas from high school, and just release everything that I went through. It was so hectic, but I'm so glad I worked with such an amazing crew that gave me time. Enos, the producer, he was the director, sorry, he was kind enough to just be like, take your time, we're not in a rush, no one is running anywhere, just take your time. If you feel like you're ready, just do it. So for me, it wasn't as hard as it should have been, because I had the best people on set, I had the best teachers, I had the best guides. So for me, it was exhausting after that scene. It was so exhausting. I had a headache, I had to go home. So it was just, it was exhausting, but it was really tasking. It was really tasking to dig deep.
Wow. Have you had young girls reach out to you and tell you that, I relate to your character because I feel like I'm watching myself? Right? Have you ever experienced that in your DMs on Instagram?
DMs. DMs for sure. And I don't know, it's so amazing seeing that young girls just being inspired by the characters that we're playing, and them just being like, I really like how she is, I'd want to be like her. I see how Nema is, I like the relationship between Nema and Lydia, I'd want to have a friend like Nema. Like, it's so amazing to know that it's inspiring. And actually, when I think about the show, it's very, apart from, it's very relatable, and as how you're saying it, it has like that human connection. It's real. It's not just about even the young teenagers, because normally, even for us at the age that we are in, we have friends.
Of course.
Yeah, we have rivalry when it comes into between like us as friends. It's just that it's being told, a story being told by younger teenagers. But we really get lots of those DMs for sure.
I like that, because then that just goes on to show that, the message has it been like delivered in the nicest way ever? Because if someone is actually messaging you, telling you that, you know, I relate with what you're portraying, I like your character, I feel like I'm inspired by her, that shows that the job has been done. 90% of it.
It's a compliment,
Totally.
actually.
Yeah,
it is a compliment.
It is. Brian, you know, as a young man yourself, what are some of the experiences that you've been through in your high school that have shaped who you are today, and how different is your role compared to who you are as an individual?
My role actually is pretty similar to me in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the only difference is Brian is a lot more focused, from the show, he's a lot more focused on what he wants. From high school, I was more interested in fitting in, trying to be friends. I was trying to prove myself to all the wrong people.
Interesting.
Yeah, like there was this situation, we were playing football in school, and the ball was kicked over the fence.
Okay.
So I helped her to go and get it. But now, when it got to my chance, I kicked the ball out of the fence, and it was almost like 5 minutes to bell time.
Yeah.
I went for it, the bell rang, and everyone left. I was like, okay. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I was trying too hard to fit in.
Yes.
And you know, when you try too hard, people see it and they just end up pushing you away and things like that. So let me say, what this show just shows, the difference is Brian now, he's still friendly, yes, but he's a lot more focused on what he wants.
Okay.
He keeps with the right crowd, and he avoids all the drama while trying to be as friendly as possible.
Yeah, I like that. Avoid all the drama. I mean, can you do that in high school though, really?
You can't escape all the drama.
Yeah, you can.
It's something that you can't.
Guys, just
You
focus
can't.
on your books.
Is that Lydia speaking, or is that Stephanie?
Lydia, for
Lydia.
sure. But yeah, I really like what Brian said, even before, considering the viewpoint of the guys watching the show.
Yes.
It shows, for Brian especially, it really represents that good guys in the world, that good guys in high school.
Yes.
And it's not that every guy is out to get you. And also, they should learn from Brian. The bad guys should learn from Brian. Like, you don't need to be bad to someone so that you can make friends or like fit in. Just be kind and make good connections and friendships, you know. So yeah.
I like that. Do you know, I think Sarah mentioned a very interesting point, which I want to bring up again. She said that the amount of information that we have in today's day and age, it's limitless.
Yes.
There is way too much information compared to what you can actually absorb. And I feel like that's something that we didn't have growing up, right? And how exactly do you think a teenage girl now will have to just digest all of that information and then be able to understand everything that's going on around her, and then with all the pressures around her, it's tough being a teenage girl,
so tough.
right? So I just feel like maybe you can take us through some of the things that you did to be able to come out of a dark place growing up.
For me, I thank God my mom took me through church.
Okay.
I'm really grounded in God. I have a really deep connection with God. I really value religion and Christianity. So for me, I really used to pray a lot. I used to run to God whenever I used to experience even today, like whenever I experience any hardships, I just go run to God, I pray about it. Somehow it will find a way to be solved and to be, you know. So for me, I used to pray a lot and also talk to my friends a lot. The close friends that I have, who've been so supportive to me. They've been such a guide and such a support system for me. So I think for me, what worked for me is praying and just being able to share and have with my close circle, just share my problems with my close circle. So yeah, that's what works for me.
What about you, Sarah?
Well, also for me, my mom. I think for the times that I'd feel like I am going astray or I don't exactly know what's going on or I'm losing some type of focus, my mom used to tell me this, and she still tells me till right now, jua kwenye umetoka, and know where you're going. Always never forget where you come from. And after, when I hear that, especially like right now, when Nairobi gets really tough, I just go back home and I sit back and I reflect. I am able to reflect my goals. I'm able to reflect who I am as a person. And I'm like, this is where I come from. This is who I am. And just move on with it. I think when I was in high school, the main thing was I really thank God, because I think, I've changed, kinda. But I used to be so confident. I used to be so confident in what I believed in. And even if I get like any pressures that are coming my way, I'd still stick to what I knew. And that really made it easier for me because and of course lots and lots of prayers because I was also raised in church. And the good thing was for me, I was very supported by my high school teacher, and I had really nice teachers. So if I had to put any issue across to them, they would help me solve it. So I was quite lucky.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that you said that you're quite lucky because a lot of girls don't have that support system, right? So what do? They watch a show like Pa. Brian, you mentioned that you really tried to fit in when you were younger. And I feel like when you're an individual who does that, it's very easy to get influenced negatively by all the pressure that's around you. How did you manage to overcome that? If you did, that is. And if you didn't, tell us more.
No, actually, the thing is, I wouldn't have dared strayed.
Okay.
My mom.
The moms are winning.
Hey, on this show.
I was raised in such a way that I knew the things I would not do.
Okay.
Obviously, I want to make friends, I want to be in groups, but then there are things I would never have done.
Yes.
Even then and even now. So, as much as I try fitting, if you try take me to do something that is not meant for me, I'd always, and I mean always, just step out. I don't really have, just because I want to fit in, as like I was saying, I want to fit in, but the lines I do not cross at all.
Yeah.
So with me, what kept me going, the only thing you'd find me involved in was always sports. Yes. So to keep away from all the other stuff, I just impressed the other guys. Like I was trying to impress, obviously. So as much as I cannot fit in other areas, they see, oh, Brian is an amazing sprinter. Let's go chill with him. People will always try chill with the sporty guys. So I found my own way of bringing them in also, without being involved in what they were doing.
I like that.
Yeah.
And you know, contrary to belief, people always believe as high schoolers, as teenagers, you're always trying to impress, people of the opposite sex. But I feel like that's not the case, because you're always trying to impress. If you're a girl, you're trying to impress other girls out there, right? And if you're a guy, you're trying to impress the guys, the boys out there. Were you ever in a position where you tried so hard to impress other girls and that didn't really go well?
It wasn't more of impressing, it was just trying to fit in, especially in high school. High school. For me, it was exactly. It was just fitting in. But then I tried so much. I used to take in a lot of nonsense that they used to put on me, and I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it.
You don't need that.
I don't need that energy. Then I just, I was like, I don't need it. I'm fine by myself. I'm enough the way I am. So honestly, it got to a point I got tired. I was like, no, I can't. It's not worth it.
It does get exhausting when you're trying to be someone that you aren't. I feel like just putting up with all of that and then maintaining and being consistent in this new character and person that you're putting out there for the world to see. It's hard. Sarah, what about you? Any situation similar to hers?
I did. Actually, I was a leader. I was a prefect and things like that. And it got to times that it was getting so tough because you bullied. But for me, it wasn't like physical bullying. It was more of mental bullying.
Were you the goody two shoes in school?
I was.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was. I really tried. There's a time that I really tried because I was like, I really want to fit in. I want to know how it feels like being cool. I want to sit with the cool girls. I tried, but all I'm gonna say is I got tired, and I say like, if it's come by, just move on.
Okay, what about you, Brian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, to the answer that yes, I tried fitting in, but it was really hard fitting in with people you did not understand. I was an introvert. Okay. I liked spending my time in the house, either watching TV or maybe reading a novel. So when you go to school where everyone is outgoing, they know things you've
social.
never. I'm pretty sure there was the Vines. Remember Vines?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Everyone knew what Vines is, and there was Brian. Do you know what Vines? I was like, huh? Like, yo, they're entertaining. Don't you know them? No. So once you try and everyone's talking about Vines, they're mentioning words I've never heard of before because I'm not that of sort of a social person. I was very shy at the time.
Okay.
Extremely shy even. But yeah, I'd say maybe it was a negative effect. It had a positive effect.
Okay.
Because I learned from that.
Yeah.
I learned what they wanted, and I was like, you know what, as much as they're hyping this up, it's not as hype as they're making it seem. Yeah. So Vines, sure, they're funny, but I can enjoy this at home without entertaining you.
Yeah.
So once I knew all that, I guess I knew what direction I wanted my life to go through. And
lovely. And as we wrap up, maybe you could give a message to all the young people who are watching, and their parents as well, because I feel like it's very important for our parents to understand us and to be able to guide us. As you've all mentioned that you had a strong mother figure who really, guided and supported you through school and shaped who you are today. So what message would you like to give to parents and teenagers watching the show today?
For parents, I'd say try communicate with your child, try know your child, try understand your child, form a relationship with them, because it's so important. Don't just give them money or leave them to their devices, because they can get easily influenced by social media. There is a lot of information out there. So forming that relationship with them would be able to make you understand how to deal with them, how to teach them, how to guide them through life. Also for the teenagers, I'd say just you're enough. Don't let anyone make you feel any less of who you are. You don't have to fit in. Don't even trust the images that are on social media. People don't post their failures, they post their success. So yeah, you're enough. Just always remember you're enough.
Lovely.
Yeah. For me, this is to the society in general. Let's take care of our kids. They need us. Whatever they have to say is valuable. They should be listened to. And for all teenagers out there, all I can say is be confident, believe in yourself. Do not be scared of making mistakes. Make the mistakes and learn from them. And just let yourself be free to learn what is good for you and what is not good for you. And you'll survive. You'll make it.
Hey, love it. What about you, Brian?
This goes to the parents first. What you say matters a lot, especially to your kids. It matters a lot. It can either build them or break them. Just because your kid is silent and just because you shout at your child and they go quiet, you do not know how they process such a thing. So be careful what you say. Be positive with them and you'll see them grow. And this is for all the youngsters, even our age also.
Yeah.
Like she was saying, do not be lied to by social media posts. What was the quote again? People post their successes, not their failures.
Not the failures.
Yes, don't let that lie to you. Focus on your life. Trust me. Do not see like your friends are here. Oh my God, they made it big. Why am I so held back? No. Build yourself and you'll catch up and you'll even surpass them. Trust me.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wise lot you are, the three of you. I feel like I've learned a lot today as well. I need to go back and reflect. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I feel like you have a lot to offer to the younger generation as well as to people your age through your experiences, because I see you're thriving. There's still a lot, to grow in terms of your journeys, individual journeys. But all in all, well done. Keep it up. All the very best in the future. And watch Pa. If you haven't watched it yet, what are you waiting for? Catch it on YouTube. Remember, it is a show that will empower the girl child, but as well as you as parents, just that you're able to see the struggles that your child is going through and that you don't see because they don't talk to you about it, right? So do that and we'll have this conversation later on. All right, that's it from us right here on KBC Channel 1. Shiksha, Arora signing out. I'll see you next week, Friday. Call Jacks, you ready? All right, take it away.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
Nilipimwa hospitalini, kabainika nilikuwa na TB.
Nilianza matibabu ya TB mara moja. Nilimeza dawa zangu bila kukosa kwa muda unaofaa, kama nilivyoshauriwa na daktari.
Hata kuna boys tulikuwa tunasoma naye primo, yeye aliachia class 6. Aende akalime viazi. Sasa tunaongea na wewe kwa mpaka na punda. Kana unacheka?
Nakana exactly niambia akona private jet kitu kama hiyo.
Haya, punda ni big deal. Wewe unajua biashara yako akona punda.
Pata matibabu bila malipo katika hospitali zote za umma. Tujijali, tumalize TB. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Wizara ya Afya na washirika wake.
Get ready for the next big thing.
A woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman.
So we need to start bringing out the professional